Cheesy face, you know. Then I come to the center and I make another funny face. And then the far right side, I always do the action pose. And I tell people it's called the action pose because you can pose my action figure in the same kind of position, which is like that. So it looks like I'm running, right? You know? And I always tell fans, like, come on, faster, I can't balance this long. So that's the action pose. But I was saying about, oh, Dominic. Who was here for Dominic last year? Dominic Keating was here? Yeah?
No, she missed it, unfortunately.
You missed it? Oh my God, Dominic is hilarious. Dominic is somebody that I actually golf with on a regular basis. One time we took Anthony Montgomery with us to golf, who's not a very good golfer, okay? So Anthony would hit a ball and it would go maybe like 10 yards. So he'd have to come over here, hit it again, he'd shank it off into the trees, he'd go over in the trees, hit it that way, it'd go all the way across into the sand trap over here, he'd hit it again. So he would move maybe 30 yards in 20 minutes, it seemed. He would barely move. And when you play golf, there are people playing in front of you and there are people playing behind you, right? So now you basically have Dominic looking back at the group behind us, thinking that they're angry that we're playing so slow, that the pace of play is so slow. And I look back at these people, and it's 4 men in their 80s, and they're not even looking at us. They're talking about, you know, I remember during the war, I was flying to, you know, whatever. They're talking about old war stories from World War II. They don't give a crap about how slow we're playing. But Dominic is just getting so anxious. He's like, all right, we gotta hurry up now. All right, let's go. We got Anthony, we don't have time for this. Let's go. Those people they're playing it. So this continues for 1, 2, 3 different holes that we play, where Dominic is flipping out. So finally, Dominic comes up and grabs Anthony Montgomery's golf ball off the ground. He says, all right, we don't have time for this. He throws the ball towards the hole, right? Which is rule number 1. You never touch another player's ball. You never touch ball. Touching is off limits. So, anyway, so you don't touch the other player's ball. And he not only did he touch Anthony's ball, the story takes on a whole new dimension. He threw Anthony's ball forward towards the hole. And I remember Anthony looked at Dominic and he goes, man, because I ain't never playing with you again. I hate you. He was so mad. He was so mad about that. Oh, but I love every time I can hang out with Dominic. I love listening to his British accent. Like, what kind of accent does he have, would you say?
Midlands.
He speaks, it's a Midlands accent?
He's from Leicester. He's from Leicester.
He's from Leicester? Okay. So, he left a message on my phone once, and he said, he goes, all right, hey there, Garrett. How's it going, me old China? He says that, right? So I immediately thought, is this some racist bullshit? Really? Me old China? Okay. You will bring it? All right. What am I, Hong Kong? And are you the British Crown? Like, are you coming to subjugate me? So I was like, I called him up. I said, how dare you leave that racist comment? And he called back, he goes, no, it's a term of endearment. It's like me old China plate. And I'm like, oh, all right, okay. Me old UK, me old, you know, so me old fish and chips. I tried to do something back, but it didn't really work. So literally, it was hell on earth. Oh, it was bad. And everyone, when you're watching the cameraman and all the sound people, and you can see sweat dripping off of them and hitting, they have a pool of perspiration behind. You know, every single person working on that production were just dying. And for some reason, the producers decided to open it up to fans. So the fans were standing on the set asking us questions between takes. Did you get that? That was like, what? Right. It's a convention and we're filming. I mean, what? It was bizarre. Yeah. But the same people are doing Renegades, and that is not a series. It's going to be just an independent film. They were supposed to film that last month, but they pushed it back to October now. Renegades refers to a group of Star Trek characters who are commissioned secretly, as if they're a group of renegades, to take out an alien threat. You know, so they're sort of doing it under Starfleet Command doesn't know about it, basically. So it's just a. James Horner's score for Star Trek II was better. Let's see what else. Oh, when Kirk and Khan. Has everyone seen it already, by the way? Yes, everyone. Has anyone not seen the new Into Darkness? Well, shoot, there's a few of you who haven't.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. When Kirk and Khan land on the ship together, and they slide all the way up to Scotty, right? Mm-hmm. And then Kirk introduces Scotty and Khan. He goes, Khan, Scotty Khan, like that. But there's an actor named Scotty Khan who's on the show Hawaii Five-0 in the U.S. The short guy, and I thought maybe that was part of JJ's weird thing. Oh, okay. Here's my biggest thing. I'm sorry. He is a fellow countryman of yours, and he's a wonderful actor. But I would never have cast Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan. I'm sorry.
Yes.
That's not my choice. I'm sorry. I got yelled at by all these Cumberbatch fans when I made that comment on Twitter. I said the casting of Benedict Cumberbatch was the wrong choice. And then I got slapped. Down by, thank you. I mean, let's face it. I mean, that's a little crazy. I mean, to do that. And what made me upset was, if you look at the writing of who Khan is, what's his background? He's Sikh. He's Sikh. Everyone knows what East Indians look like here, okay, in this country. It's not, I can understand, all right, people will say, well, Ricardo Montalban was an East Indian. And I'll say, well, back in 1966, there wasn't a plethora of East Indian actors walking around. Hey, hire me. It wasn't happening, right? So they had to get somebody ethnic. They got a Latino, a Mexican American. But in the new age now, it's quite easy to find an East Indian actor. Bollywood is huge. It's bigger than Hollywood. But more importantly, J.J. Abrams did a show called Lost. And on Lost, he already had an amazing East Indian actor on there. Naveen Andrews should have been Khan, okay? Naveen Andrews from English Patient, pound for pound, is one of the best East Indian actors out there. East Indian background actors, I think. And it would have made more sense to see a long hair Khan. You know what I'm saying? Really. Instead of, I'm sorry. And if you are Khan, if you're playing Khan, what is Khan? Khan is a genetically engineered super warrior.
Yeah.
Super warrior. Super warrior means you gotta see somebody looking kind of super. He doesn't have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger like that, but still, there's gotta be some muscle tone going on, right? So then all these fans are like, oh, but Benedict went through 6 weeks of training and da-da-da.
6 weeks.
I said, well, 6 weeks wasn't enough, obviously. Because wardrobe threw every chance they could get. Wardrobe department threw an overcoat on Benedict to make him look a little bit bigger, you know? It's like, all right, give him another overcoat. That'll help it out, you know? He's too slight. He's just too slight to play that role. Well, what they could have done is, it could have been at the end that Harrison was really not Khan, but the first officer of his group, and that the real Khan was in cryostasis tube 2 next to him. And they could have panned over and seen a little image of like Montalban's face right there. Like a CGI'd Montalban face, which would have been cool, right? I mean, the talk was that they offered the role to Benicio del Toro, actually, which would have been a very interesting choice, I think, for Khan. It might have worked, may not have, but still, it really bummed me out to see that. And then when they reversed the dying role, Kirk is now has the radiation from the warp core, right? Yeah. And then you watch Spock do the opposite yell. Isn't he Vulcan? It would have been more like Kirk. Oh yeah, no, it would have. Like that. It would have been God! It would have been like a subtle one, right? Yeah. God. Most illogical. That's it. that kind of bugged me. So yeah, not a huge fan of Star Trek Into Darkness.
Those people that tweet like what they found in their pocket. I mean, come on, I just can't do it, you know? It's very upsetting to me. I don't know why. But anyway, I don't know. I think, you know, because they say like if actors are like a minute late and there's 100 people on set, like that wastes 100 minutes, right? I'm just thinking, oh my God, what are we doing with our lives, you know? But I mean, it's fun, but to a point. You know what I'm saying? Okay, anyway, sorry. And get off my lawn. So anyway, well, who would I play on the original series?
Yeoman Rand.
Yeah, that's a good one. What?
Yeoman Rand.
Yeoman Rand. No, she wasn't on long enough. I won't. Who would you play?
I'd be, oh.
Well, everyone loved Data, of course, on Next Gen. I think we'd all secretly.
Chekhov, I have a crush on Chekhov.
Do you have a crush on Chekhov?
Yeah.
Okay. I do I'll take this opportunity to switch the subject a bit more and say I did love the movies. Yes, I really did love them. My favorite movie, though, my favorite of all the Trek movies has got to be First Contact, definitely. Even still, I love First Contact. It has everything a movie should have, right? Drama, action, comedy, marina drunk. All the elements of great theater, right? Yes. So indeed, there you go. Who's got another Trek question? Because I have plenty to tell you, but yes.
How did you end up getting the part in the first place?
A very good question. They have these showcases in Los Angeles where you can pay to meet a casting director. And in LA, how this works is the casting director will invite you in for an audition, and then if he likes you, then he'll call like 5 actors back, and the 5 actors meet the producer. Well, I decided, after talking with Jonathan Del Arco in our little acting class, I decided that I would really like to be on Deep Space Nine. That was honestly the one show I prayed to be on. That was like what I really just wanted and aimed for, and asked for. So I went to meet Ron Surma, the casting director. I paid $30. That's like what, 20 pounds or something? I mean $30, and I met Ron Surma, and he liked me, and I got to audition for the role of Marta, which was Jake's girlfriend in the 2nd season, and she was also a Bajoran Dabo girl. And I thought, what a fun thing, like Bajorans being spiritual and Dabo girls being fun. And that would be great. So it was a cool thing, and I got down to the final 2 of that. There was there were just 2 of us left, and they picked the other girl because I think Avery said he didn't want me to date his son because that would just be all wrong or something. What do you mean by that? And so he said so they actually wrote the role of Lita for me, and that was pretty fun. I was happy about that. Ira Rivera told me in the 5th season, I think it was during Let He Who's Without Sin, the Risa episode, that they wrote the role of Lita for me. And he said, which is such an honor, such a huge blessing. And then he told me something very interesting. He said, I want you and Ram to be an example of really what would be the only happy couple on television. He said, you know, when you look at relationships on TV, in American television anyway, at that point, there really aren't a lot of happy people. There's couples that are fighting or cheating or bickering, or there's, you know, invariably alcohol or drugs or something like that. But there's hardly any couple which is happy and yet still has any dramatic quality and dramatic content. And he said, we can show people that we can be interesting, you know, we can be happy and still interesting. There's still something going on. It's not boring. You're just happy and, you know, and you have events in your life that need to be worked through. So I just thought that was a really neat lesson. And you know, I guess that's part of what I would say when people say, what is it do you think about Star Trek that's so, has such longevity? And I would add that for Doctor Who too, is that the stories are transcendent. They really do give takeaways. They teach you something, and they teach you without hitting you over the head. There's there's, without getting really moralistic and preachy, they're able to draw parallels with the allegories and the metaphors that are to our real lives, except they take place, well, with guys like you, and and in other realms, and so they're not as hard hitting as if you were to tell that tale just straightforward. But I can't tell you guys how many wonderful experiences I've had with fans talking to me through the years about what Star Trek has meant to them. And like Garrett had told the story about the psychologist working with kids who, grow and understand their own lives through Star Trek. There was a couple of Klingons in New York a couple months ago who told me that they were in special forces in they were Marines, and they were over in Afghanistan and also Iraq, and they said that when they would come back from a mission, oftentimes the first thing that they would do, way back actually, this was in Iraq, in the Gulf War, Iraq, they would watch an episode of Deep Space Nine if one had arrived from the States. If there was a DVD that was new or something, they would sit down, and before even taking a shower, they would actually just sit down and hang out and watch this because of the stories about war and peace and family, and all of that was so transcendent. And I think Deep Space Nine was really wonderful in that way, to tell that breadth of story, Anyway, it's a huge blessing to be on it, so.